Colorado's current budget crisis is the fault of Democrats at the state capitol if you ask Republicans, and it's the fault of Republicans in Washington if you ask Democrats. Or, if you would prefer to be honest, both parties contributed to this mess in very different ways. Our Marshall Zellinger explains.
Colorado went from expecting to refund $289 million in Tabor dollars to having to cut $783 million. Who's to blame? In April, state lawmakers passed a budget that started in July and had the revenue and expenses even. Then, at the start of July, the Republican-led Congress made tax policy changes that President Trump signed into law that will drop the revenue coming into the state. So now the state has to do a combination of cutting expenses, finding new revenue, or using the piggy bank. That's what the special session is about. However, there's already a problem in next year's budget that starts next July. That budget is already expected to be $532 million short, and the warnings existed before the Republicans in Congress passed a new budget bill, like when state lawmakers debated the current budget in April.
I think next year we're really heading for a big wreck.
We better do more than rip off the Band-Aid, because otherwise next year we're going to need a tourniquet to stop the bleeding.
I appreciate that sentiment, and I do think we will be in a world of hurt next year.
The fat is trimmed. I imagine that we will see worse cuts next year. Next year, it's going to be things that really, really, really upset people because there won't be any fat.
Next year, the state starts $532 million short if everything costs the same next year as it does this year. But that's not how budgets work. When you account for Medicaid increases, higher education costs, employees' salaries going up, and building maintenance, the state is projected to be $1.4 billion short. And because of Tabor, Colorado can only keep and spend so much each year. So if costs go up faster than the Tabor limit, cuts have to happen. Then it becomes a state policy problem. What should be funded and what programs should be cut? Colorado lawmakers already knew before Congress acted that next year was rough. And the state was already projected to spend as much as it could, plus refund money back through Tabor next year. So it becomes a spending question. Does the state spend too much, Republican viewpoint, or is Tabor too limiting, Democratic viewpoint?
And at some point, they have to stop fighting with each other about it and actually come up with the cuts. What are most likely?
Well, that list I just showed, I don't think you're really going to do much with the Medicaid spending, but employee salaries, I hate to say, you might be limiting there. Maintenance, you're probably not going to spend $200 million on building maintenance next year. That's money that's going to be held back. But you got to find a lot of that.
All right, Marshall Zellinger, thank you.